Simon and Andrew were casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. Day after day, it was the same thing. The same sea, the same net, the same boat. Day after day, it was wind, water, fish, sore muscles, and tired bodies. They probably grew up watching their father and other family members fishing, seeing their future life before their eyes, wondering if they too would live out their lives the same way. Cast the net and pull it in. Cast the net, then pull it in. If you're not casting the net, then you're sitting in the boat mending the net. That's what James and John were doing, casting and mending, casting and mending. You know what those kinds of days are like, right? You and I may not fish for a living, but we know about casting and mending nets. We know those days that all seem the same. One looks like another. Life is routine, sometimes lived on autopilot. Nothing changes. We don't expect much to happen. This is our life. We cast the nets, we mend the nets, casting and mending to make a living, to feed our family, to pay the bills. Casting and mending to gain security and get to retirement. Casting and mending to hold our family together, to make our marriage work, to bring up our children. Casting and mending to gain the things we want, a house, a car, books, clothes, and a vacation. Casting and mending to earn a reputation, to gain approval, and to establish status. Casting and mending our way through another day of loneliness, sadness, or illness. Casting and mending may be realities of life, yet they are also the circumstances in which Jesus comes to us, the context in which we hear the call to new life, and the place where we are changed and the ordinary becomes the extraordinary. These would-be disciples, Simon and Andrew, James and John, are not looking for Jesus. They are too busy with their nets. It's another day of casting and mending. They may not have even noticed Jesus, but he not only sees them, but he also speaks to them. In Mark's gospel, Jesus hasn't been around long enough for us to know this yet, but pay attention, people. Jesus has a way of showing up in the ordinary places of life and interrupting the daily routines of casting and mending nets. That's what he did in the lives of Simon and Andrew, James and John. That's what he does in my life, and I imagine in yours also. Follow me is Jesus' invitation to a new life. If these four fishermen accept the invitation, their lives will forever be different. They will be different. They will no longer just catch fish. They will fish for people. When Jesus says, "I will make you fish for people," he is describing the transformation of their lives, not simply a job catching new members or followers. He could have just as easily have said to the carpenters, "Follow me and you will build the kingdom of heaven." Could have said to the farmers, "Follow me and you will plant and grow God's people." To the doctors, he could have said, "Follow me and you will heal the brokenness of the world." To the teachers, "Follow me and you will open minds and hearts to the presence of God." And to parents, "Follow me and you will nurture new life." Whatever your life is, however, and how you spend your time, there is in that life Jesus' call to follow me, to follow him. Follow me is the call to participate with God in God's own saving work. It's the work of change and growth. That work is always about moving to a larger vision, orienting our life to a new direction, and experiencing our little story of life as connected to and part of a much larger story of life, God's life. As Jesus walked by the Sea of Galilee, he saw Simon, Andrew, James, and John, and he called them. Mark records no discussions, no questions, no goodbyes. They simply left and followed him. The immediacy of this gospel, it always seems to get me. It's something Mark is known for. I find it jarring at times. Mark uses this word immediately over 40 times in his 16 short chapters. It most often means the immediacy of going, the immediacy of doing. I'm afraid that if Mark were writing about me, when he gets to the part when Jesus says, "Follow me," Mark would then be writing, and immediately the questions follow. Where are we going? What will we do? How long will we be gone? What do I need to take? Where will we stay? And can I bring my wife? But this conversation doesn't take place in today's gospel. Mark must have thought it more important to show Jesus does not offer a map, an itinerary, or a destination, only an invitation. This immediacy signals that this is not the type of journey you can prepare for. This is the inner journey, a journey into the deepest part of our being, the place where God resides. It's not about planning and organizing, making lists, packing supplies, or even choosing your companions. It's not that easy. If anything, this journey is about leaving things behind. Listen again to what Mark says. Immediately they left their nets and followed him. They left their father Zebedee in the boat and followed him. Poor Zebedee. The invitation, follow me, is also the invitation to leave behind. To leave behind our nets, our boats, and our fathers. Probably even our wives. As we will learn, Simon is married. That's the hard part for most of us today. We're rather good at accumulating and clinging, but not so good at letting go. As I look around my house and I see all the things that we've accumulated. Good at receiving, not so good at letting go. More often than not, our spiritual growth involves some kind of letting go. We never get anywhere new as long as we're unwilling to leave where we are. We accept Jesus' invitation to follow, not by packing up, but by letting go. Follow me is both the invitation to and the promise of a new life. So what are the nets that entangle you and me? What are the little boats that contain our lives? Who are the fathers from whom we seek identity, value, and approval? What do we need to let go of and leave behind so that we might follow Jesus? Please don't think this is simply about changing careers, disowning our family, or moving to a new town. Jesus' call is about the freedom to be fully human, and in being so, to discover God's divinity within us. We let go so that our life may be reoriented, so that we can now travel in a new direction, so that we may be open to receive the life of God anew. When we let go, everything is transformed, including our nets, our boats, our fathers and our families. That's why Jesus could tell them they would still be fishermen, but now they would fish for people. They wouldn't become something they weren't, but they would be changed. They would use all the skills that they had known, how to prepare their tools, read the environment, repair anything that was broken, and to work together. They would be more authentically who they already were. Ultimately, it's about letting go of our little life so that we can receive God's life. Letting go happens in the context of our everyday life activities: work, school, families, paying the bills, running the errands, fixing dinner, relationships, and trying to do the right thing. It happens in the casting and mending of our nets. These are the times and places Jesus shows up and calls us into a new way of being, and our world changes. Sometimes it happens immediately, as it did with Simon and Andrew and James and John. Sometimes it happens more gradually, as I know, but that's a story for another time. Jesus' call comes to all of us, but you get to choose your response. In closing, I have a reflection from a retired United Methodist pastor. His name is Steve Garnis Holmes. He leads retreats on prayer, he writes poetry, and he works to renew conversations with God. And he shared this on his blog titled Unfolding Light, about operating without a net. Jesus, quiet one, your call is not just the seashore challenge to change my vocation. You call every moment, every conversation, every choice. You whisper gently, here, come with me, this way. Am I radically open to your nudging, ready to go an unexpected way? What entangling nets must I let go of? What habits and comforts must I leave behind? What familiar safety net must I forego? What that I thought I knew will I have to cease to know? What nets have me? Here, now, beloved, draw me out, set me free. Working without a net, just your presence, your quiet, your love.